So, what's up, YouTube? What's up, Twitch chat? Hope everybody's having an awesome afternoon. First league of the day, running through some Unearth, Dimir Unearth, Oculus, trying out Kiora the Rising Tide in the main deck. The new, I guess we actually have to go to the preview pane instead of having the little auto expander now. The new 3-drop from Magic Foundations, 2 in a blue for 3/2 ETB, draw 2, discard 2, and then if you have Threshold, which is 7 or more cards in your graveyard, whenever Kiora the Rising Tide attacks, you can create a Scion of the Deep token, a legendary 8/8 blue octopus. So since you're already filling up your yard pretty aggressively for like Abhorrent Oculus, for Murktide Regent, Kiora hopefully attacking just to make a free 8/8 is a reasonable clock, reasonable the Stonewall tech against some of the aggro decks in the format. So we'll see how that works out. Go along with Kiora, the bulk of the deck came from a player, Kiora Works, that I played a video or I played a league the other day with like 73 of their 75. I made a couple more changes this time. They were on like 3 Graveyard Trespassers in the main. Essentially swapped out 2 of those Trespassers for 2 Kiora. Swapped out the 4th Spell Snare for a 3rd Force Negation in the main. Sideboard, I tried out Minor Misstep in that league. Wasn't a big fan, so swapped them back to Stern Scoldings. Swapped the Glistening Deluges back to Toxic Deluges because I don't want to get Blood Mooned off of my Wrath effect. And yeah, trying out Undercity Informer in the sideboard. The 2 in a black, 2/3, completely irrelevant. The important part is you sack it, target your Belcher opponent, and mill them out because they don't have any land. But yeah, other than that, let's just go ahead and jump in and see what happens. Point. My overall expectations of Kiora are fairly low. I think the card is cool. I just don't think the card is doing anything that you're like particularly caring about. Feels like another like redundant threat that doesn't have evasion, so like the Death Shadow problem. But we'll see how relevant like the ETB loot is. Hand need some lands, but we do have a few ways to fill up our graveyard. We've got a turn 1 Thought Scour, so if we just happen to like randomly flip over an unearthed target, could run away with things. Boros right off the bat. Oculus right off the bat. And a land. So really good start for us. If I go for a consider first, is there anything I actually care about hitting? I don't think so. So I think I'm just going to put my Oculus in play and pass. Counterspell under the Oculus. I like putting things under the Oculus that kind of like cut back on the amount of information my opponent gains. So, like, put Counterspell under here so they're a little less likely to think I have a Counterspell in hand. They might try to play around it a little more, even if I don't. But yeah, that's game 1, match 1, like the cheese potential that Oculus puts out. Just, we flipped over an Oculus. Oops, we unearthed it with a Force Negation. Oops, you lost. Always cool to see it play out. Deluge, Trespasser, Stern Scolding. Did bring in Surgical. I want to board out. I am on draw. Side on the draw. We are pretty threat dense in these builds, so I don't feel too bad like trimming a threat. Is it worth playing the Informer on the side? No idea. This is the first time I've registered it. So we'll see if we run into Belcher. If we don't run into Belcher, probably not. If we do run into Belcher, depends if we see it. Sign's good too. Consign is good if you hit the ring. Then it's like okay if you hit a static prison, and then bad if you hit anything else. So it's like very narrow situations where consign is good. But like consign does nothing against guide, ocelot pride starts, or um, goblin bombardment, flage. So I don't want to jump out and say like, oh, consign's excellent. It does everything you want, because it's not always going to do everything. Kind of value have more, or having more generically strong um, versatile cards in the match. Got the pride, saving the fatal push for that. I think I'm just gonna get the basic swamp. I don't have counter spell right now, so I'm not like too heavily worried about not having the double blue. For spell snare, save the stern scolding, and we get a chance like another guide or another ocelot pride or something. Okay, so let's jam Kiora. A lot of good stuff to put in the yard. Oculus Trespasser. Way if they've got a flage here and kill the Kiora, I can just unearth the Trespasser and kill the flage. But when they bend that one ring, I'm kind of assuming they have another copy of the one ring in hand. Mounted a hand, sure. So black source would be pretty nice. Not a black source. Just unearth an Oculus. Island and pass. We might cycle one of these unearths. What I flip over. I'm gonna put the deluge under the Oculus so I just don't show that I've got that. Yep. Okay. I don't have any spell pierces. Feel like cycling this unearth doesn't do a lot for me. Cycling in response. Find a static prison. Always like, oh, here's this one blind draw. Oh, it's a static prison. Pass back. They can play a hasty Giganta. Couple low impact cards. I mean, just hasty Giganta isn't the end of the world for me. Chunk of damage, but we'll attack with the trespasser. The trigger there. Good attack with the manifest token. For me, does it? You have to counterspell the first half of a flage if they have one. Really need one of these threats back. The Oculus or the Kiora. On top. That would scream something like Flage on top to me. I don't think you keep another one ring. Care about another one ring? Holding a guide in case this is like guide into Flage or something. Rough. Situations where you're just really hoping that they only have like things to play, and as soon as they have the third, it kind of sucks. Um, Going down to 6 off the ring. Get any of my things back. Earth of Trust. 2, 5 off. 5, no energy. Draw a whole bunch of cards. Kill the trespasser. Try to escape the flage. We got the counter spell. They still hit us for 6. So my outs become like them whiffing heavily, like no discharges. I find another trespasser, another unearth. Down to 1. I have to counter this because I got to get my threats back. Alright, we got a flying blocker for a Giganta, I guess. They're into Blood Moon. Sure. Crazy. You got it. You have the removal spell for your Johnny. That works. Okay. One ring's busted. But we get to be on the play game 3. Enjoy being on the play. Do I want to bring in a Harbinger? Bring in a Harbinger. I could assume that being on the play is just a little more in my favor anyway. In a force. Goblin Bombardment, the One Ring, Static Prison. Good hand if you're okay with just like hard casting an Oculus on 3. Pedro, what's up? Great last video. The eye video. I appreciate it. Tameshi Belcher's a thing now. Tameshi Belcher has like been a bit of a thing for a second. What's it preying on? Energy. Apparently it's just like energy's a buy for it. Am I playing out the frog or am I just holding up fatal push? Thought scour myself. I'm gonna play out the frog. 1/3s block the red white creatures. Yeah, and they just like combo faster than Boros is killing them. Kill the cat. Put the Ajani trigger on the stack. Push the Ajani. Bolt in Springs. It hurts a little bit, but I'm going to be able to Thought Scour and Spell Snare. Charge with 2. Let's lead with Thought Scour. Does it matter? Kiora into the bin. Kind of, do I want to make them pay extra energy? Can't save the frog regardless. Flats. Eyeball. They have a 1 ring here. Definitely annoying, but at least we get to hog the board up a little bit in the face of it. Like they do. Prison plus Flage. Make all my comments about not wanting to get mooned off of Deluge, and here we are. Could have played around it. Could have fetched out a swamp. Okay. Well, if we find another eyeball, we can hard cast it. So. Eyeball, Kiora, or cantrips. That one. I guess I'm like so used to having Harbinger in the mirror, or not in the mirror, in the Boros matchup, but I kind of forget that Blood Moon's even like a thing that exists. That game really bad. really, really bad. I was thinking about on turn 1 when I fetched up that Undercity Sewers. I could have just started playing around Blood Moon there, but I kind of thought I was going to be in an advantageous position as soon as I got the eyeball down. I'm just like immediately having the static prison kind of threw everything off. I guess I was thinking if they had the static prison, they would prison the frog. And then when they didn't, they just had the discharge for it. It was kind of brain went to mush. And it's on a mold of 5. 5 still just Boros mulling to 5. I love the fact in this matchup that there's like a reasonable chance their mold of 5s can still beat us. Especially if it's just like land, 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 land. What if they go discharge plus static prison? Playing out trespasser. I fatal push. All right. Don't have land. Well, I guess if they have land flage, they still can't kill the trespasser because they don't have a discard to the ward. He's good. Hacking. This is less good. Pass. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Um, push the Ajani, attack, exile the Ajani, and try to offer the trade. I would get Guide of Souls token off the board, and I just have to play Murktide next turn to be bigger than Guide of Souls. I could sit back and do nothing. Sit back plan so I can fix the guide. I could sink into stupor the static prison. Lock the guide. Guide that token. At the very least, I can play a Murktide now. Cities over. Any reason I want to sit on sync and wait to Oculus? Probably not. I feel like their last card. Into um, sync instead of back or Cloudland. All right, so if I block worst case scenario would be discharge the Murktide, flip the Ajani. They have like front half phase off of it, and I can next one. All right, so. Yep. Let anybody tell you that modern's not an amazing place full of endless possibilities. Different ways. Mm. I sync the cat token fonts and hope they don't have another way to flip the Ajani. Because if I let them resolve this, sack the token, they can just replay the Ajani. This, they can replay it. Just so we were aware, they were on a mulligan to 5. Mulligan to 5 on the play. Bail out. I will say I needed to hit another piece of interaction instead of hitting all these Oculuses and Unearths. The beat. But I would say this is like majority of the reason that I haven't wanted to play a lot recently. This matchup just feels so abysmally repetitive. Have the answer to the ring or die to the ring. Everything else puts so much pressure on you that you can't like let everything else resolve. You gotta counter what you can counter if it's a value piece. Do that, die to the ring. Save the counter for the ring, you die to the Ajani swarms and swarms. See if we can find a way to get this. Probably gonna have to just ignore Blood Moon this match. Game. Let's see. I get Undercity. Mill over 3. Considers mill is 5. One more card and I can get Oculus online next turn. Or I could play a 5/5. Form. Okay. Option number 1. Play out the Murktide. Play out a 6/6 Murktide. Then have double Oculus stuck in hand. Unless I find a frog or Kiora. Option number 2. Pass with sink into stupor up. Plan on sinking a 1 ring. Go to my turn. Play an Oculus or a Murktide. Probably an Oculus. Like a tiny bit better here. Maybe we high roll like finding a counter spell and we get to Murktide, hold up counter. Hard in the yard. Charm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, deck. The deck doesn't you. Thought about trying to build a Dimir Frog list with selective memory and blue-black MDFCs being more of a tempo deck with an auto win con. What auto win con? Thinking of the right card. Library for any number of non-land cards. Sell them, then shuffle. So just like free away and what's it called? Like the Oracle or something. I think the big issue there is just like best deck in the format is a hyper aggressive aggro deck with a lot of burn elements. It can be a little awkward to play a bunch of MDFCs if you're not a reliable combo deck. I think if you're playing the whole frog package, you're just like gonna have a tough time being a reliable combo deck. Just a thought, haven't even put something on paper. I mean, it's always worth putting it on paper and seeing what it looks like. That would just be my concern, is that the deck would have some issues like consistently doing the unfair thing, which is kind of what you have to do against this matchup. All right, opponent is mulligan to 4. Is this how we have a chance of beating Boros? They mulled to 5 in game 1 and won. Mulled to 6 in game 2 and we won. Now they're on a mull to 4. 1 drop. that. I can just get like basic island, basic swamp, blood moon, insulation for what it's worth. Do want to jam a threat here before they have a chance of. Well, do I want to jam a threat? I probably don't need to. If I just play like a frog into a discharge here. Anywhere. What are the chances that they are just sitting on Thraben Charm? Slash, do I care? Okay. Worst case scenario is they go. I play Frog, discard Oculus, go to Unearth. They Thraben Charm, exile my yard, untap, play a ring. Like play land ring. That means I lost my Oculus. Don't get a draw from Frog this turn. I don't keep up counter here. But if they had Thraben Charm, I didn't just pass the turn with like all that mana available. Like F6 pretty hard, so. Alright. Got a one ring. One ring. Apparently you don't. Alright. So all it takes to beat Boros is for them to mold to 5, mold to 6, mold to 4 in 3 games. Easy. Easy, easy. There's like a reasonable chance we could have been 2-0 if we'd played that game 3 of match 1 a little bit better. Old prison scoop. I'd be scooping too if I was hard casting stat prisons. Very land heavy. I'm gonna throw this back on the play. Look for something more proactive. Like already has a frog or an Oculus in hand. Better. Watery Grave. Oh. Commercial District. Probably Delirium. Delirium or Storm. So I got to make a decision on whether it's Delirium or Storm. I guess I'll keep that because if it's Storm, I can force negation a Ruby medallion and be okay. If they have a Ral, I can untap and Fatal Push. Delirium, then I can Fatal Push whatever they do. Stormy. Storm a Bruin. Um, War Pass. Cards in the yard. Oculus into play. Datara. You have to try my list, work hard on it. It's very good against Boros. You can send it. I can't guarantee I'll try it, but you're welcome to take a look and see what we think. That's a little awkward. Ditch the Oculus. Oculus Unearth. Up counter spell. Block going. Plans to be more proactive and less reactive to gain some win rate. I mean, that sounds offhand exactly like what the Oculus build is trying to do. And it just doesn't really matter how much you change. Like, you're still in a bad shape against Boros. Might gain like a couple percentage points, but going from 30% to 34% isn't some crazy adjustment, unfortunately. Do have a Ral next turn. At lethal. Pretty sure I'm just killing. Yep. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13. Had an unfair plan with Villagi and Blue Flare. Is that really like an unfair proactive plan? Getting back a flare off the archaeologist, you just have like a 0/3 counter spell, right? Oh, air things. In the trespasser. And like the overpowered eye, I would not consider eye overpowered. But like game 1 of match 1, we had the Thought Scour over an eye, unearth it. Obviously, that looks really good, really busted. But then it's been pretty fair. Like this hand, are we considering this overpowered? Just turn 3, turn 4, hard cast an eye. A one lander. Please don't mana tithe me. My heart can't take it. I tap out and they're going to go off here. Oh, if they baited me there, that's going to feel so bad. If they had the land and they just sat there with it, try to get me to tap out. Discard. Good pickup. Maybe. All right. One card left in hand. Don't think this matters. They have to go for it. Morphos into a ritual kill. So they have 2 rituals in the sideboard. All right. That was impressive. Silence Anamorphose into the kill. No cards in hand. Fair enough, OP. Fair enough. So what could I have done differently? I could have not played the frog on 2. Not played the frog on 2. Held up spell snare in case they top deck the land. Alien. Probably would have been the best choice. But I don't know. I'm so iffy about that because, like, if they don't have the land right there, then we just win if we play out the frog and run away with it. If they top deck the land, we assume they've got a hand of just 6 spells. They still have to be able to kill us off 2 mana. Exact same scenario, except I don't know whether they have the land or not. Force of negation I can use to sign. I can pitch to force and keep spell snare. So about these 1 land keeps. Frog connects like this on an open board, especially on the play. Feels like it has infect 3.5 or 3 1/3. Like a couple frog hits, you just feel like there's no coming back. Snare is insane right now. The list I originally played earlier in the week was on the full 4 spell snare in the main. Their Boros energy match. I would love to know from the people that like grind leagues with Boros energy if they enjoy it or if it is literally just, this is the best thing to be doing, so I'm going to do it. All right, so I'm assuming this is Underworld Breach. Thinking about that. Like, I don't have a problem if they are just jamming leagues to win. Um, but I wonder if it's because they want to. What earth am I up against? Solitude, Ditch Supreme Verdict. So Supreme Verdict in your Tameo Chess guy deck. Main phase cracking clues. So let's see if we high roll into an unearthed target. Fortunately, there's a reasonable chance this Tamio will just run away with it. Probably have to cycle Unearth. Um, go for the trust. We're okay if this one needs a counter spell. Means line binding. I have no idea what's going on. Five color control with cameo and for the next one. Arena of Glory. Like Spara's headquarters, planes, cameo, supreme verdict, solitude. These are cards you are allowed to register in your deck. One ring. Wishful thinking. All right. Bucks, no Tameo. Also, I hate that we play a match where Tameo looks amazing for our opponent when all I want to do is play Tameo myself. Like justifying and infuriating at the same time. Hmm. One land. But we do have a Surveil land. Answer a Tameo. But if I do hit another land and they like Solitude my Harbin or my Psychic Frog, I can ditch Harbinger and unearth it. So I'm gonna hope on the back of the upside of this hand. Things we're never beating for 200, Alex. Or we can unearth a frog if we don't hit a land. I was about to get my frog surgical. I was gonna say I will probably discard and try to block this. Play that first. Back in. Frog. Card a. Back. Trying to set up like hard casting a Harbinger next turn. Hopefully locking things down. Very. Opponent out here with no chill whatsoever. All right. Uh, ring. Got a basic mount. I think I'm just gonna play the Trespasser here. Don't think I want to play out the Harbinger and then just get locked off of black completely. Give myself another draw chance to hit a swamp of some sort. Not matter in the face of a one ring. Draw it. So if they have Flage, well, they gotta have Flage if they have Arena for you, right? Requirement by law. Flip Harbin or flip Tameo and about 75 cards to see to find Solitude. Yep. Okay. That was everything I couldn't beat. One Ring, Tameo, Supreme Verdict, Solitude. Keep a one land intentionally this time because we do have cantrip. Apparently, Just Guy Control came in 8th place in the challenge yesterday. That's where the popularity is coming from with Tameo, Flage, Solitude, One Ring, Teferi. Souls. One, find second land. We just need to step 2 and 3 and find third land. And fourth. Okay, what's going on? Birthing ritual. Find me a third land. Fetch land. Fetch land off the top. So close. Here's my list. Swear it will not deceive you. Oculus, Trawler, Emperor of Bone, Pelagic Archaeologist, Shards, Donian Nightmare, Denial Force, Fatal Push. It's Unearth, Oculus, Cameo, Pelagic Archaeologist. I don't know why people are playing Emperor all of a sudden. Why did that card jump out? Right. All right. Need a land. Been more specific. So I do have to force a negation if they go for a birthing ritual, which kind of sucks. Just hit me for 3 and pass, and I get down an Oculus. It feels. Company. Seven three of the Mox with 4 bones. You know what he played against? Forcer in the. I mean, as long as we keep a birthing ritual off the board, might be okay. Voice tokens get annoying really quick, but voice tokens also get chumped by Oculus tokens pretty easy. Going playing, I'm guessing just some Abzan birthing ritual deck. On Earth does this attack main? I mean, I've got Force, so I'm gonna make them show me something. Could be like a Chthonian Nightmare, which would be absolutely phenomenal for me after I get voice off the board. Or that makes more sense. Didn't have Renegade Rallier on my bingo card. Oof. Would have been a reason to not block the Ocelot Pride. Well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered. They would have made the tokens anyway. Um, what if I Kiora here? Kiora, and Kiora finds me an Unearth. I get back an Oculus. And I kind of want to keep Oculus in hand to be able to hard cast one next turn. So I think I'm just going to ditch Trespasser, Earth the Oculus, go. Frog. Throw the frog under the bus. Okay. Any chance we stabilize here? Like we attack with both. Make an 8/8. Block all they want. I think there's any reason to triple block there, but their own. Oculus. Go. Make a couple tokens. Hold up a couple interactive spells. What happens? So I'm not really sure what to think in a turn cycle like this. Like Kiora making an 8/8 was cool. Did Kiora making an 8/8 matter? Probably not. But I guess unearthing the Kiora or hardcasting the Kiora and drawing into the unearth mattered. Okay, so is this just another renegade rallier, like a suicide attack Volt renegade rallier? That's the case. Like chump the 2 elemental tokens, 2 manifest tokens, and take one. They get to make a 1/1 into turn. don't have revolt, so they can't renegade rally or back anything. Unless they also have like a fetch land in hand. They go to 10, they're still dead in the air to the 2 Oculus. Gain a make a cat, but they don't gain a life off of it. It's gonna be like Bowmaster their own cat, and then Bowmaster their own Bowmaster, and then token that dies immediately. Okay. I would like to hit you in the air for 10. What say you? This is one of the funny interactions when you have the city's blessing and you Bowmaster and make an army token. At the end of the turn, it makes another 0/0 army token that just like dies immediately. Which, if they had Fatal Push and wanted Revolt, that would be a way to get it. Yes, they did not. Scolding Deluge. Bring in the extra Trespasser here because we saw the Renegade rally. Not hugely anti sign here if everything's got an ETB ability. But to play that game until I know for sure what role they got. All right. What am I hoping to see? No second land drop. Archthonian Nightmare. I roll. Frog. Better than doing nothing on my turn. Attack him with a guide. We're not blocking. I don't really want to deal with just like Renegade Rally or get it back for value. Well, sure. Still, Haywire Might, Verdant Catacombs, Birthing Ritual, Extraction Specialist. Get back a Birthing Ritual. So much energy. Extraction Specialist. Get back Haywire Might. Sure. We're gonna take a chunk. Uh, Deluge away their board. Would like to keep my frog alive. My deluge for 4. I need to discard 3 to 1, 2. Deluge for 4. Think we're gonna discard 1 more. Get to attack with the frog. Double spelling next turn anyway. Okay. Birthing Ritual. I attack first. Mostly I just didn't want to like exile my yard. I knew I was going to be hard casting this Oculus, and if I find something else, I'd have to hard cast it too. That's just putting like a big tax on my yard. If I'm exiling stuff to jump the frog too, then big ask. Idea if they have 4 drops. Or get back Rallier. Fudge. Okay. Good. Good. And efficient to not be able to flip that into turn, but I think kind of bluffing the counter spell is worth it. Bluffing the interaction. Frog food. Nightmares, sack off, like rallier, get back rallier, get thing. Action specialist, get back cat. Wonder why they're not getting back the extraction specialist. All these. Probably stack this to resolve the ocelot first, right? So if you flip over another ocelot, you can just like sack the token for free. Gonna be close to it for this game. At least voice I don't care about really much. Kiora. Over the Oculus. Better than Kiora. Eight. Dead plus token. Dogfish, what's up? Starting and unearthing the Kiora worth it. But I'd rather just earth. How's the Kiora edition? We got no Merc, lower curve, higher on Earth count. Still on Merc in a couple. Kiora's been fine. Like, the loot has still been better than making the 8-8. We kind of punted around match 1 against Boros in game 3. Beat Boros match 2. Round. Yeah, I don't even remember what we played round 3, but round 4 we got clapped around by Jeskai Control pretty bad. Cream verdicts and solitudes, and then we're currently up a game, match 5, about to go to game 3 because I don't think we are living through going on too well. Lose the Kiora because if opponent just like whiffs on these birthing rituals for whatever ungodly reason, we have a lethal attack in the air. Their entire deck to find something to do. All right, so this kills me if they just get back Ocelot Pride. Does it gain up enough to where I can't kill them with Frog? $13 in the air. All right, go. I actually said that when it got printed that I assumed the loot effect was going to be the better half of the card. Yeah, and I feel like if that's the case, it's probably not worth the inclusion. Like you kind of need your cards to do a little bit more than just loot. I'm gonna let the opponent do their thing. They've got 7 minutes on the clock, and we've got a game 3 to play. So they want to spend all their turn just like looping triggers. Mm, super dead next turn anyway. They'll have Revolt anything because of Nightmare, so I might as well get a thing off the board. Dopey's deck. Dopey's deck is fine. It's just trigger dot deck. Of everything I know and love. Well, every time I play against this deck, it's literally Birthing Ritual. Like, if you keep Birthing Ritual off the board, the deck just doesn't do anything. And as soon as they have Birthing Ritual, then life sucks. Like, wasted time because of these triggers going on the stack and all right, let's go to game 3. Or opponent crashes Moto. I didn't see any sort of like grave hate out of them. Just fatal push, so I might want to go back on aggro Unearth plan. Skyclave apparitions. I don't think I want to lose out on Murktide. Might trim a Kiora. Because we did see Masters. I gotta have endurance right. Maybe. They do. I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to say they gotta have anything if I haven't seen it. Love to have an Unearth here. Land is good for us. Slamming Oculus. I think so. No play on their end. Quick attack all. All right. So I could ditch Oculus, Unearth, Hardcast, Graveyard, Trespass. But I think I'm going to ditch Oculus, Unearth, hold up Sink into Super. Just say, like, luck, Godspeed. Show them that all these fatal pushes are, like, under Oculus instead of in my Wrath out of nowhere for some strange reason. Yeah, that's why I'm like holding up Sink into Stupor there. Here's click attack all. Solitude it or something. Hey. Okay. Oculus go wide. Right. What do we think of that? That league. Kiora, kind of mid. Like, I really don't like the fact that Kiora's best attribute is just loot too. Like, I don't really want to spend my Unearth on 3-2 that loots too. I still don't think the body it makes matters hardly at all. So I think if I want to play more Unearth targets, I'd rather play Harbingers or Trespassers in that spot instead of Kiora. Um, like, okay, the best, the best thing I've seen about Kiora so far is being able to hardcaster when you don't have a yard and the loot too. And I feel like if that's the best part about the card, I'd rather just play like Archmage's Charm. Have cast through Grave Hate, draw two, not even have to discard, and have additional modes like counter or steal something. The 3-2 body completely irrelevant. You got stuff like Amped Raptor on the other side of the field. Um, worse, bowmasters, age to kill it, whatever. Body just doesn't matter at all. The 8/8 seemed pretty easy to make. I don't think there was ever a time where I had Kiora or wanted to have Kiora and couldn't make the 8/8. But the time frame of getting the 8/8 is really to like you unearth the Kiora on 2 or 3, and then the next turn you attack with it and make the 8/8. And then the turn after that, the 8/8 gets to attack. Well, if I had all those cards in the yard, why not just like hard cast a Murktide and wing the next turn with an 8/8 with evasion? I think the biggest buff to Kiora would have been if they had not made the 8/8 legend. They had not made it legendary, or they just made it enter tapped and attacking. I don't know why either of those things were considered like too devastating. Just don't make it legendary. We'll make it simple. Don't make it legendary. Other than that, didn't get to see Belcher, so I don't know how Undercity. Fine.